안녕하세요. 여러분의 한국어 선생님 고빌리입니다. When I first started learning Korean, so back in early 2005, the only Korean foods that I knew existed were kimchi and galbi. Oh, and also a snack called 오징어 땅콩, which are sweet and crunchy snack balls filled with peanuts. Oh, and the whole thing tastes like squid. Of course, now I know that Korean cuisine is incredibly diverse, with most popular dishes having several variations. And I've tried a lot. Everything from common street foods like kimbap and hotteok to the more unique 홍어.
It's like the texture of ear. Do I like it? No.
족발,
족발 맛은 진짜 치킨 맛인데?
번데기,
Kind of like soft beef jerky.
and even 횡성한우, the most famous beef in all of Korea.
That is actually really good.
So then today, in December of 2021, what are some of my favorite Korean foods? First, if you're new to this channel and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. Okay, so let's get started with my top 10 favorite Korean foods ever. We'll start off with my number 10 and work our way up to my most favorite food. Number 10 is 부대찌개, army stew, but with a catch. Now, army stew became popular after the end of the Korean War. At the time, meat was very scarce, but Spam was brought over by the American soldiers and it was a good alternative. So 부대찌개 is actually a fusion of American food with Korean food. From the Korean side, you have things like rice cake, green onions, cabbage, tofu, and gochugaru, which is the red pepper flakes. And from the American side, you have Spam, American cheese, Vienna sausages, and canned beans. Now, the catch is, it's only one of my favorite Korean foods if it's made correctly, because every place that you'll find that serves this will make it their own way. So if you can find some place that really cares about how they make it, it is definitely one of my favorites. And something that's also a bonus is, although it looks really spicy, it's not. And I think that 부대찌개 can be enjoyed by anyone, even people who don't normally like spicy foods. So that's why 부대찌개 is my number 10. Number 9, jjajangmyeon. Wait, isn't jjajangmyeon Chinese food? Well, no, not really. It's Korean food. I'll tell you why. Originally, the word jjajangmyeon comes from a Chinese word, jjajangmyeon. I don't know if I said that right, I'm sorry. But the dish as it's made in Korea is quite different than its Chinese origin. Jjajangmyeon is made with fermented black soybean paste known as chunjang, and it has a nice salty flavor which helps to give jjajangmyeon a lot of depth. It also contains onions and has a sweet caramel flavor. Just be careful when you're eating it because the chunjang sauce will definitely stain all of your clothes. Next, number 8, Sanjikuk. Okay, this one might sound gross. Just give it a chance. Sanjikuk is made from cow's blood that's been coagulated into kind of like a jello substance. There's no way I can sugarcoat that. It's cow blood soup. Because of all of this, I have yet to encounter anyone who's not a native Korean who has told me that they love this dish. However, the actual flavor of it is a really mild and soothing bean flavor. But it's a comfort food for me, and because of that, I have to add it to my top 10. Number 7, UK. This one's not for everyone because it's kind of like raw beef. Okay, it's raw beef. Now, it's served cold, kind of like uncooked sausage, and it's also mixed with sesame oil and served with a raw egg on top. And the sesame oil adds a savory flavor to the meat. So because of that, it was really different than I expected it to taste when I first had it. Also, you should know that UK is relatively expensive, but that's for the best, because you don't want to go around looking for a discount raw beef store. No, it tastes fresh. And actually, I see it as more of a lunchtime meal. And I will say, if you enjoy your steak on the rare side, then you will love UK because that's what it is. Number 6, Korean fried chicken. This also includes yangnyeom chicken, which is covered in sweet, sour, and spicy sauce. Korea makes chicken like it's nobody's business, and these days there are so many varieties. So despite having chicken often in Korea, there's no way I've tried every single kind. The good news is it's common to order chicken 반반, so half and half, so you can actually try 2 at once whenever you order it. I still think that they should start selling 반반반, so you get 3 different types. Except, oh wait, that's half. That's 3 halves. That doesn't make any sense. Never mind. After a long day of hanging out with friends, there's nothing quite like sitting down together and sharing some chicken. And my favorite place to go to enjoy Korean chicken is the Han River, known as Hangang. There you'll see hundreds of people every day just having picnics and enjoying the view. Number 5 is Musam. Musam is Korean pork belly that's been boiled in herbs and spices to give it a wonderful fragrance. The word 보쌈 comes from 보, meaning a handkerchief, kind of like what a hobo would carry in a cartoon, and sam coming from the verb 싸다, meaning to wrap, so a handkerchief wrap. And that's due to the way that 보쌈 is eaten by taking it and wrapping it in something like perilla leaves or lettuce or cabbage. And while I'm also a big fan of regular pork belly, so 삼겹살, that you cook yourself at the table, 보쌈 is better because 보쌈 is cooked before it even comes out to you. You don't have to worry about who's going to cook it at the table, and your clothes don't end up smelling like barbecue. My favorite type of 보쌈 is 마늘 보쌈, so garlic 보쌈, and it's covered with a generous handful of sweetened minced garlic. Just don't eat that when you're on a date, or there is 0 chance of getting a kiss at the end. Unless she's really into garlic. Number 4, 곱창. 곱창 is the small intestines of either a cow or a pig, and you eat them like any other Korean barbecued meat with rice and side dishes. Now, because it's the intestines, they're a bit greasy and they smell strong, but the flavor is like nothing else. And it is seasoned, so when you bite into it, there's this explosion of juicy flavor. Now, although it has a strong smell, the flavor is subdued. So it's easy for me to recommend, even if you're not normally a fan of that kind of food. In addition to 곱창, there's also 대창 and 막창, which are 2 other types of intestines that I really like. But 곱창 is my favorite of the 3. Number 3, Sundae. Sundae will always hold a special place in my heart because it was my very first favorite Korean food. Sundae is similar to a blood sausage, if you know what that is. The outside is made of intestines and the inside is filled with noodles or meat and coagulated blood. Again with the coagulated blood, Billy. I know, just give it a chance. You might like it. Now, you can eat sundae all by itself, which I also like, but you can also dip it in salt, which I think is better. Or my favorite way to eat sundae is in tteokbokki sauce, which is spicy and sweet, and it just goes together perfectly. Okay, number 2, Isac Toast, or Isac Toast. Don't laugh. I legitimately eat this every week when I'm in Korea. Hear me out. Now, it's a sandwich, but it's technically Korean food. And it has been my staple fast food since I first went to Korea, so back in 2005. While they do sell a large variety of sandwiches, they have some things in common. First is the sauce that goes on the sandwiches, which is like a sweet dressing made with kiwis. And it is the most divine sauce that I've ever had on a sandwich. The main base of the sandwich is a patty made of fried egg mixed with sweet corn, and that's usually topped with a slice of ham, American cheese, and sweet pickles, as well as a generous handful of thinly sliced cabbage. Just describing it like this now, I really want to eat one. And here's a video of me eating one recently. Now, a typical Isac Toast sandwich only costs around $2 or $3, and I can usually only finish a couple of them before I'm too stuffed to breathe. Do I have to say this, but this is not sponsored by Isac Toast? And the number 1, my most favorite Korean food, and what I think everyone needs to try at least once, is Kabi. Isn't it obvious? Kabi means ribs, but they're not just ribs, they are perfectly cooked ribs, Korean style. High quality meat, cooked over charcoal right at your table. And oh yeah, it has to be Suwon galbi from the city of Suwon if you want the best of the best. There are many types of kalbi, from marinated to LA kalbi, which is also from Los Angeles, but my favorite kind comes out right on the whole bone. The flavor of the meat alone is enough to enjoy it, but I usually like adding just a pinch of salt before I eat it, because this part of the meat has the most flavor. And it also gets a nice, extra fragrant, smoky flavor from the charcoal that it's cooked on. Now, if you want the best, you have to pay for it, and kalbi is the most expensive item on this list, which is why I usually find myself going for sundae or Isac Toast a lot more often. So which of these top 10 have you tried before? And what are some of your favorite Korean foods? Let me know in the comments. I do check all of them. Thanks for watching, and also special thanks to all of my Patreon and YouTube supporters out there. You know who you are. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.